as it is. First of all, good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank for this invitation to present our work in gel polymer electrolytes. I will talk a little bit about gel polymer electrolytes and how flexible materials are changing the way that we think about the development of new systems and devices. So, first of all, let me see if this is working. No, of course not. Wait. No. Okay, wait. It's in another screen. Wait. Okay, let me see here. Can you see? Yeah? No, it's not changing.
You're just seeing just the cover.
Yeah, the first, but and now did it change or not? No. Let me see if I can perhaps share the other one. Is it? Aha. And now, did it change? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry for that. So, sustainability. Currently, we face many challenges, sustainability challenges that deal with climate change, with resources depletion, and of course, we need materials that are more efficient overall. And part of that efficiency can be answered if we think about materials that are able or adaptable, and so that are flexible. Flexible materials can answer some of these challenges because as they are conformable, they can adapt, they can resist, and they withstand longer lifetimes. So they are quite adequate for wearable electronics and renewable energy solutions, and are the ones that we are going to speak a little bit now about. So let's see, I have to change here. So regarding these materials, we can think about them in energy storage devices. So quite briefly, in the energy storage devices, let me see if I can point here. So in energy storage devices, you have usually anodes, cathodes, an electrolyte, a separator. Here, another type of energy storage device, the electrochromic devices. These are also characterized by having an additional electrochromic layer, a counter electrode, an electrolyte, and a transparent conducting layer. But what I want to call your attention on is the presence of, in both of them, of electrolytes. So electrolytes are common to many of most of the energy devices that you can think about, because we need a layer or a material that can do this role of enhancing ion conduction between back and forth the electrodes. And because of that, we need materials that can answer this demand for being this middle point material that enables this conduction. And so the electrolytes do this function. And there are many types of electrolytes, but basically we can classify them as being like either liquids. And so in liquid electrolytes, those are the most common ones. You have high conductivity, but you most of the times have heard of this feature. They have safety issues because of leakage and because of the volatility. Of course, then another class of electrolytes came like with the solid electrolytes, and solid electrolytes have improved safety and stability, but they sacrifice a little the conductivity, the ionic conductivity. And this happens because they present lower conductivity, of course. But you have something in the middle between liquids and solids that are the gel polymer electrolytes. So they have liquid and solid-like properties, but they do this balance between the conductivity, the safety, and the flexibility of the materials. And these are the ones that I'm going to talk a little bit more about. So to address the needs of the electrolytes in every device that you can think about. So you can think about if they are liquids, if we have high viscosity, that can hinder the ion conduction, the ion movement, they will decrease the conductivity. We want to answer the flammability issues because if the part of the electrolyte, the liquid electrolyte, is flammable, is volatile, this can have a severe safety problem, as you heard with lithium-ion batteries. And of course, some other features that we need to answer in order to have a material that is able to withstand longer lifetimes. You need to address the issue of electrolyte decomposition to be able to have better performance and better longevity. And so all over the evolution of this research topic of electrolytes, you can find these key features on electrolytes that are mostly the ones more researched. So of course, at the top is ionic conductivity, and here you can see some of the electrolytes either in solid liquids or in gel polymer electrolytes, and the evolution throughout the years. But what is common here is this to address all of these topics. So ionic conductivity is, of course, the one that is the most important, but viscosity, the electrochemical stability window, the electrolyte impedance, that is also something to highly researched, sorry. The ionic mobility and the diffusivity, transference numbers. If you think about the charges that are going back and forth, we need to know how many of those charges are really moving. So the solubility and pH defects, stability, salt effects, electrode compatibility, solid electrolyte interface, and the electric properties. And also, if you think about the gel is a matrix with a liquid that moves around it. And this matrix can, of course, affect the way that the electrolyte exists. And because of this, is something also highly researched. And of course, you can have trace back the development of gel polymer electrolytes to 1975, and from then on, you have lots of new developments where the ionic liquids, of course, also came into play a little bit later. And then you have ionogels, you have silica-based gel electrolytes, and organic solvent-based electrolytes. So you have all of these new features that came into the electrolyte materials. And if you think about the evolution, of course, you can think about what are the materials that are promising to address the needs of electrolyte. And for us, in our particular research, we try to answer the needs of electrolytes by choosing materials that either go towards the sustainability because they are abundant or because they are more green solvents. And for us, this is answered doing materials from cellulose, so cellulose-based materials, because cellulose is highly abundant, is renewable, it's non-toxic, so it's a starting material by excellence, and also using ionic liquids and polyionic liquids. And I will tell you in a moment why ionic liquids and polyionic liquids. But first, of course, cellulose-based gel polymer electrolytes. Why a sustainable choice? Because of the abundance and renewability, of course. And of course, also because it's biocompatible. By being biocompatible, it enhances the possibilities of using in the biomedical field also, besides the energy field. And it's in mixed fields also. And so it's removing the toxicity from the equation. And this is highly interesting for us. And ionic liquids. Why ionic liquids? So first, what are ionic liquids? So ionic liquids are salts, are organic salts made from organic cations and organic or inorganic anions. You can see here some examples. So they are quite interesting for us, and we are dealing with ionic liquids for quite a long time now. Why did we start to look at them? Ionic liquids are quite interesting because they have these features here, these properties here of having very low vapor pressure, high thermal stability, low flammability, electrochemical stability, and high viscosity. The high viscosity is not a featured property, but we can work around it. And if you think about the version of ionic liquids where part of them are polymers, so you have a polymer matrix that where some of the anions or the cations can be covalently linked. If you get this, you get the ionic liquid properties and also macromolecular framework. And why these are interesting for us? This is interesting because they are tunable. So this is one of the most said properties or publicized properties in ionic liquids. And what does this mean? This means that we can tailor the structure of the ionic liquid to fit specific functions. So if we can tailor the structure, we can in principle, work towards a specific property, and this is how we do this tailoring towards the application. And we have been doing this for quite some time, and I'm going to show you an example on how to do this. So in this work, we have been joining these two fields, so cellulose-based and the ionic liquids, in the prospect of having this conductivity enhancement for the gel polymer electrolytes, and also at the same time to have the enhancement of the mechanical properties. So we can functionalize cellulose. It's not the most easy or regular task, but it's possible. And by functionalizing the cellulose, it's possible to make composite materials from cellulose and ionic liquids and or polyionic liquids. So I'm going to show you this case study where we developed some gel polymer electrolytes for micro supercapacitors. So the micro supercapacitors that are shown here, done in collaboration with Dr. João Coelho, formerly here at CENIMAT and now in University of Seville. So here we are showing some materials some devices that were developed with laser-induced graphene here, where we have deposited our gel polymer electrolytes. And why? Because these are devices that are safe, that they have high power densities, long life cycles, and have fast charge and discharge rates, and are adequate for being miniaturized. And so for electronics, it's highly regarded. So what we have done to work towards this field was to develop some gel polymer electrolytes, and you can see here the basis of our materials. So here you have methyl cellulose. So cellulose, for those that are not so familiar with, cellulose is highly interesting material because of its abundancy, but also is not that easy to work with because of the solubility. So it's not, as it is that stable, it's not that easy to process. So solubility issues is often a problem. And so we turn to either functionalizing cellulose or to these derivatives, in this case, methyl cellulose, that is more soluble. And in this work, we have done with methyl cellulose, and we have mixed it with other ionic liquids. And you can see here pyridinium bistiflamide that you see here. In another type of gel polymer electrolyte, we did the mixture with the cationic polyionic liquid, this one here, also a derivative from pyridinium and bistiflamide, but now in a polymeric version, where the backbone is the cations. So it's a cationic pill. And we did also this version of the ionic liquid, the polyionic liquid, sorry, that is anionic, where we have put the charge, the negative charge in this backbone and did this anionic pill. And for us, our work started with the dissolution, of course, of the methyl cellulose in the presence of either of these components, and then the use of lithium bistiflamide. This is a salt that is lithium salt that is highly used for these gel polymer electrolytes to enhance the conductivity and to bring lithium into the equation. And then we do these heating and cooling cycles until the gel is stable. The idea is that when you do the heating and cooling cycles, you are giving energy to your system, so you are making the system move more quickly, with more freedom. And then when the system cools down, it will revert to a gel, a most stable gel in the process. After a few heating and cooling cycles, you get a stable gel polymer electrolyte, and these are our starting materials to go to the micro supercapacitors. But first, before going to the micro supercapacitors, we study them with nuclear magnetic resonance. So for those of you that are not familiar with nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy, here are a few pointers that you can look at. So for doing this type of technique, you need to be able to have nuclei that are NMR active. And fortunately, most of the periodic table has elements whose isotopes can be looked at through the NMR. And then if we have these nuclei that are NMR active, we can do these many types of experiments. And these that you can see here are as if we can address it like this, our tools to do the NMR. So you can look at the chemical shifts and see how the chemical shifts change in our materials. You can look at diffusion coefficients, and you can learn about the mobility of each nuclei in our samples. You can look at dipole-dipole interactions, and these are these type of experiments that you can see here. And for dipole-dipole interactions, it really is giving you the spatial behavior of your sample. So it gives you internuclear distances, and from that you can learn how our mixture, our materials are molecularly behaving, and you can have orientational dynamics, and these relate to the relaxation behavior of our samples, and all of these are really telling us how the sample behaves meaning the way that each of the nucleus that is present in our material relates to all the other ones. So are they close to one another? Are they associated, dissociated? They move together, they move fast or slow? These are all answers that we can look for in our NMR experiments. So for us, looking at NMR is, of course, a dynamic process that we can look at, and for just becoming more familiar with the terms that I'm going to use next. So we look at molecular interactions. We are looking at diffusion NMR, nuclear over-Hauser effect, that is the one that relates to the spatial interaction of the species, and relaxation experiments. And why is this interesting to look at when we are dealing with ionic liquids? So here you have a pictorial view of ionic liquids. Here the cation, here the anion, and the two ion pairs here, and here a different species that I'm just going to address as X. It can be something else like lithium, like anything else that you can think of. And because ionic liquids have these cations and anions with many types of different elements, we can look at them through different types of elements, of course. And imagine the cations here relating to this type of molecule. You can look at it either by proton or by carbon NMR. For the anions, you can look at them either by proton or fluorine or carbon even. And this third species that you can think of, you can look at them by proton, carbon, lithium, whatever other type of material that you can think of there. And the benefits of looking at this technique that you have here is because of having different type of nuclei present, you can probe your sample in the different types of ways and see how they interact with each other. So here, let me see if I can advance. So this was to integrate what I'm going to show you next relating to our gel polymer electrolytes. So with the gel polymer electrolytes prepared in this work with methylcellulose, and this is the work done by the PhD of Tiago Paiva, already finished. And here we looked at our samples, our gel polymer electrolytes, through proton and carbon towards the cations, and fluorine, proton, and carbon also for the anions, and of course, because our samples had lithium salts in it, in them, we looked at lithium NMR also. And here you can see one of those experiments that is able to look at the relation between the different nuclei inside our gel polymer electrolytes in a special manner. And what this means that these correlations, these spots that you see here, the bigger they are, the more intense they are, the closest the nuclei are to each other. And here, these spots here relate to the distance between here fluorine and the protons in our cations. So bigger and more intense spots here means that the fluorine nuclei are closer to this type of nuclei in the cations. And so here you can see that the cation is highly associated with the anion. And this is actually giving us, because the Larmor frequencies of fluorine and proton are quite close, it's giving you something that is called the long-range behavior. What does this mean? This means that we are looking at the polar and non-polar domains patterning between among our gel polymer electrolytes. And the polar domains are the ones that you can relate here with the charged part of the molecule here, and non-polar ones are the ones that are far apart in these side chains. And of course, here we are looking just at these alternates between polar and non-polar domains. And you see that the cation and the bis-trifluamide anion are quite close to one another. And what is interesting is what we see when we look at the lithium proton behavior, the lithium proton correlations. And here you really are looking at some correlations that say to you that the lithium is closer to some specific nuclei than the others. And this proximity, because these are more intense correlations, are larger correlations, they mean that the lithium is actually only seeing part of the cation, and these are short-range correlations. These short-range correlations are saying to us that although the anion and the cation are really, really close, lithium is not that much associated with the bis-trifluamide in this case. And from the interpretation of both of these spectra, you can see that, of course, the bis-trifluamide is interacting with all the protons in our samples. Lithium in here is showing preferential interactions, and by the judging of these long and short range interactions, we can evaluate how the association is taking place. And the most interesting part comes later when we look not only at this part, but also at the way that things move inside the sample. What does this mean? This means that with this type of diffusion experiments that you look here, you can obtain the diffusion of each of the species, because it's dependent on, of course, the hydrodynamic radius of the species that is moving. So here you can see a pictorial view of what happens in this type of diffusion experiments with two different species. And of course, what we get is this behavior of decaying the signal as long as they are diffusing, that they are moving in our solution, and we can relate this diffusion afterwards to the hydrodynamic radius of the species, the moving species. And because of this, we can get the diffusion coefficient for each of the species that is in our solution. And from this diffusion coefficients, we can get the transference numbers. And we did this for lithium, the transference numbers for lithium for all of our gel polymer electrolytes that were prepared with methyl cellulose are here. And we also have done the same with the commercial electrolytes here with ethyl carbonate and dimethyl carbonate, with lithium, all of them in similar concentrations. And what we are looking at here is, of course, the liquid electrolytes have higher transverse numbers. That is expectable. But what we were happy to see was that with our gel polymer electrolytes, that are these ones here, we could change the way that we got these transverse numbers. So different transverse numbers according to the different compositions and different structures of the polyionic liquids that you see here. And most interesting for us is that it's possible to enhance these lithium transference numbers by changing the identity of the polyionic liquid, of the matrix that you are actually using. And this means that you can promote this dissociation of the lithium, so make it work, go around faster, just by changing the polymer matrix that you are looking at, that you are using in your gel polymer electrolytes. And something else that is quite interesting is that the behavior according to the amount of lithium is also quite interesting to look at, because you get higher when you get higher concentrations of lithium, it doesn't get higher transference numbers for the lithium in the respective gel polymer electrolytes. So you can even get higher transference numbers with lower amount of lithium. And this is quite interesting for us. And what we did next was to use these gel polymer electrolytes in these micro supercapacitors that were generated in these Kapton substrates. And these graphene electrodes were produced in this Kapton with laser-induced graphene. And here, graphene is quite interesting to use because it's highly porous. And it's then in exactly in the substrate. And we did these devices like this and deposited the gels in them, and then started to look at the behavior, the performance of these micro supercapacitors. And here you can see the cyclic photometries of these devices. And as you can see here, not all the gel polymer electrolytes behave the same. So you have the most well-behaved ones with the methyl cellulose and the ionic liquid, and the pyrrolidinium with the polyionic liquid, the anionic polyionic liquid. These are the ones that have this square-shaped behavior that is highly what we are looking for. And when we look at the ones from the cationic polyionic liquid, this is this black line here. You see this negligible capacitive performance. So it's only a surface effect, so it's worsening the performance. But we find it quite promising to look at these other two, either the polyionic liquid and the ionic liquid version. And so here we also saw that higher concentrations of lithium didn't get higher performances. That is in agreement with what we have seen earlier with the transverse numbers. And here you can check the performance in the micro supercapacitor. And so for these devices, we saw that using methyl cellulose as a backbone could function quite well for gel polymer electrolytes with ionic liquids, polyionic liquids, and lithium bisterifilamate. The concentration of lithium, of course, influences the results, but it's not a linear progression in this work. What we have found, we saw that we could obtain the lithium transference numbers from the diffusion NMR, compare to the commercial electrolytes. Sorry. And despite these differences in the viscosity, we could manipulate the transport properties and the diffusion behavior by changing the matrix and the matrix core, either being more neutral or more anionic in this case, towards promoting the dissociation of lithium and fast diffusing salt. So we could approach the transference numbers of the liquid electrolytes. This anionic peel that we have made also promoted lithium transference numbers quite well. and we saw that we could modulate the lithium transport. So it could also be a possible, a promising gel polymer electrolyte to explore further. And so this is what I had to show you about these gel polymer electrolytes for microscopic capacitors. I had here just one more small example, but I will not get too much into it because it's something that is not the electrochromic but thermochromic. It was just spoken about, so I will not get much into it. This is a work that we have done also with gel polymer electrolytes, but now with also gel cellulose-based for electrochromic windows. Electrochromic windows are interesting for the same reasons that already mentioned for thermochromic windows. So the concept is mostly the same. If you can use a different shading on the windows, you can get energy efficient buildings, so you can control the amount of sun that gets into the building, and by doing so you can control the temperatures more closely. And this happens because we get these electrochromic devices in the windows that have this ion storage layer, this electrolyte layer, and this electrochromic layer, and this conducting layer also. And this what happens is that we when a voltage is given to these devices, you get some of the ions will intercalate in this electrochromic layer, and this will change the appearance of the color of the device. And by doing so, this is reversible. You can get color and discolored materials. And this is what we have done in the master work of the Margarida Rodrigues, and she has produced these devices and learned about what we could do with such a device with these gel polymer electrolytes from cellulose base. So here you can see the coloring and discoloring for this type of gels. And you can see the time that they do so. So it's quite fast, the device. So a few seconds, and it colors and discolors. And you can see here the example of this voltage application and the difference in the color of the material. So this is a work that is submitted, but it's not yet approved. So I will not get much into it. So I just want to say a few challenges for future directions for this type of materials. So for gel polymer electrolytes, something that will have to be on the table to look at will be the scalability and the cost. Scaling the productions of gel polymer electrolytes and maintaining the performance and the affordability is a critical challenge. Looking at long-term stability for these materials is quite important, because whenever you change much of the matrix or the cellulose, you can lose part of the stability, the thermal stability. And of course, this is something that will have to be addressed for future applications. Of course, we are looking much into combining cellulose in these hybrid gel polymer electrolytes. And we will get to a point where it's neither the properties of one or the other, it's something else. And of course, as much as we get far apart from any of the pristine materials, we get into more uncharted territory. And these are the challenges that we believe are the ones that will be most important to look at. So I just want to acknowledge, of course, all the persons that were directly involved in these two works that we have that I have told you about. Thank for the funding, and if anyone has questions, I'm done. Okay, here.
So thank you very much, Marta, for your talk about the electrolytes. I think they have a lot of applications and potential to put it. So you already have here one question. So from Sakib Ali, so possible stretch to enhance the UV stability of the polymer layer that is expected to be exposed when deployed in sunlight.
Wait, let me just look at again. Wait. To enhance stability. Well, for us, this type of work with gel polymer electrolytes, we are addressing one issue at a time. So if we want to have, imagine, higher thermal stability, we can change the polymers that we are using, and we address this issue. For the UV stability, I believe that we can do the same, but of course we have cellulose polymers that are already more stable. We can go with that. And for the ionic liquid and polyionic liquid parts of the composite, I believe that we don't have that much of a problem, at least for the structures that we are using. Still, it's something that will be important to look at if you are thinking about the electrochromic windows that I have shown. Yes, that will be something to look at, but I believe the only problem that could arise would be more from the organic polymer, the bio-based organic polymer, and in that part they are quite stable, the ones that we have looked at. But it's something to think about in the way that we probably do these life cycle assessments, that do this long-term behavior, long-term stability will have to be looked at. But it's a good question, yeah.
I don't know if it's more questions, but I'll make one in the time. So you mentioned that you have like liquids and gel electrolytes, and you also spoke about the solid electrolytes. So a lot of people is interested on solid electrolytes because you know, if you break some like a electrochromic window and so on, you can have some issues regarding then the lifetime of the device.
When you go from the liquids to solids, you either, of course, you sacrifice a lot of the conductivity, but at the same time, you can counteract this by using really thin layers that will mean that your ions don't have to travel that far. So this is the way that you go around it. And by being solid, so solid or gel-like, you can get this mechanical stability because they will adapt and not break as much, and this will be the way to answer. I think for me, it's the most fascinating materials because you get both worlds in that, but there's still many things to go. I believe that the way that we are addressing gel polymer electrolytes or solid electrolytes must take into account the sustainability of the materials that we are looking at, the cost of the old material. Many of those things have to be thought about from the beginning, and that is the reason why we are looking at cellulose-based materials to start with, to have a material that is low cost, is abundant, will not be a problem later on when the things get to the end of the life, and also because you can depend less in fossil fuel derived materials, so you get lesser polymers that are from fossil fuel based, and this for us is the good way to go to address how to deal with the resources depletion that we are facing. So we have to rethink the way that we address this with the materials from the starting points that we are making them. For me, this is the answer. And of course, solid electrolytes are the way to go and the way to address this.
Thank you very much. I agree. So I don't know if there's more questions. So if not, I'd like to thank everyone that attends the webinars from the INFRACHIP School of UNINOVA in the morning and in the afternoon, and also most important to the speakers that had the availability to give a really nice talk in different topics related to smart surface and functional materials. So thank you very much to everyone. And then for the ones that will like to come to the hands-on school of INFRACHIP at UNINOVA, So as soon as possible, even today, we'll send you the records of the presentations, and then you'll have like 20 minutes to do your test. It's a simple test with multiple choices. So then you just need to do it, and you have 24 hours. Will be opened the application for the questions, and you have 20 minutes just for one time. So I don't know if anyone have questions about anything. So if not, I'd like to thank again to Dr. Marta Corvo for the nice talk, and now I'll stay here, just me and Maria, to finalize some things of the INFRACHIP school. So thank you very much to everyone. See you next time.